This small section of my bathroom was in need of a little makeover, but I didn't want to break the bank. I started by cleaning everything in the bathroom, especially the floor. First, I vacuumed the tile really well, then sprayed a tub and tile cleaner all over and scrubbed it well, making sure to get any loose dirt removed. I followed that up with mopping the floor, then using old rags to dry everything thoroughly. Next, starting at the farthest end of the room, I took some painter's tape and began placing it on the floor. I overlapped the strips of tape to ensure the tile was completely covered. I used small strips to go around the toilet to ensure it was all covered, then continued on finishing taping off the floor. Next was the fun part. I purchased these peel and stick tiles from Amazon for about $13 a box, which is a really great price. I started by laying out the tiles to get an idea of how many I would need and how to fit them in the space. Once I was happy with how it looked, I was ready to start installing them. I started in the far left corner of the space since that was the easiest spot. I made sure the tile was upright according to the arrows on the back, then I simply peeled the backing off and pressed it down on the floor. This tile required no grout, so I placed the next tile directly next to the first tile and continued that pattern until I had applied all the full-size tiles that I could. When it was time to cut the tiles, I used one of the backing pieces of paper to measure the size of the area and make a template. I took that template, placed it on the tile, and used a box cutter to cut the tile to size. When it came to working around the doors, I used a ruler to measure the length of the opening and the width of each piece of trim to make kind of a staircase cut so the tiles fit around the door trim nicely. I then used all the scraps that I had remaining to fill the extra space. This space was far from being square and the tiles are uneven, so despite my best efforts, the tiles had some gaps. So I decided to fill in the gaps with some leftover grout that I already had on hand. I added a bit of water to the mix, mixed it up, and applied it to the cracks, then used wet rags to remove the excess. Once the grouting was done, I used some all-purpose white caulk to caulk around the perimeter of the space, especially around the tub and around the toilet. This really pulled the floor together and sealed everything to prevent moisture from penetrating underneath. Once the caulk was dry, I added a new shower curtain and a rug, and this little portion of my bathroom fits my style so much better, and I no longer have to look at those stained tiles. If you have a space in your home that needs an upgrade on a budget, I hope you find this project inspirational.
It's time for a flooring upgrade in here. Let's pull up this LVP and transform this into a cozy space with carpet squares. This is a quick, easy, DIY-friendly project. We'll be adhering the carpet squares directly to this existing concrete, but don't worry if your floors are not perfect. Carpet squares are very forgiving, even on rough surfaces. Using rubber-backed carpet squares, they're perfect for concrete because they add cushioning, help insulate against cold floors, and there's no extra underlayment needed. First things first, clean that floor. Dirt and dust don't mix well with adhesives, so sweep, vacuum, and wipe it down. Using double-sided carpet tape to adhere these down, a clean surface is going to ensure a smooth stick. The carpet squares we're using do not have a pattern, so we're going to start in this corner along the back wall. For this first row, lay the line of double-sided tape, firmly pressing and ensuring it is adhering to the concrete. It should be placed near the edge of where the carpet square will be, while making sure it will be fully covered once the square is set. The second line of tape will sit between the seams of where the carpet squares will meet. See how the tape runs along the seam between both tiles? Don't pull the top layer of the tape off until you're ready to set your squares, as this will keep it free of dirt and debris. And now you're ready to cruise. Align the carpet square, set it in place, and press firmly to adhere to the carpet tape. When setting the next tile, make sure that the seams line up and they are snug together. No gaps between squares. Continue on square by square, take your time, and finish out the row. Moving on to row 2, the carpet tape will sit between the seams on both edges. Continuing on with placing and pressing down the row. No glue, no mess, just line up those edges and keep it tight. Continue on row by row, and soon you'll have a seamless, comfy new floor. The last row, similar to the first, the line of tape will sit completely underneath the carpet square, not along the seam. But what happens at the edge, or if you need to carpet around something like a post? Not a problem. Measure out the cuts, turn the carpet square upside down, and trace it out with a pencil. Using a straight edge, score it first, and then cut all the way through. A clean, sharp blade is helpful for clean cuts. Take your time and don't stress if the edges are not perfect. Trim or baseboard will cover any small gaps. And look at that perfect fit. And just like that, new floors in under 3 hours. budget conscious, stylish, and totally DIY friendly. Once the trim is in place, everything looks polished and professional. One of the best things about carpet squares is that they're easy to maintain. Just vacuum like normal. And if you spill something, no worries. If one gets stained or damaged, you can just swap it out instead of replacing the whole floor. And there we went from this cold, concrete, rough floor to this beautiful, cozy haven, adding warmth and comfort to this space.
All right, so getting started, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna quickly sweep the floor and we're gonna sand the floor with some 220 sandpaper. I got it on a sanding block here. Then we're gonna come in and we're gonna use TSP. We're gonna clean the floor with TSP, trisodium phosphate. Okay, I've got my Wise-Al stain eliminating primer. It's got great adhesive quality. Stir it up real good before you put your coats down. I'm using a dense foam roller so I give a real smooth finish. During the priming process, if you notice that your grout is chipped in any areas, you can take a little bit of caulk, just caulk that area, fill it in, smooth it out with a finger or a little bit of a wet rag, and it's gonna make your grout look great. Then just prime over top of it and you're back on track. Okay, we let our primer dry overnight. We're ready for our base coats. We're gonna be applying 2 coats of Wise-Al 1 Hour Enamel Antique Villa. We're gonna do it in the same way that we did the primer, using the dense foam roller and a brush to cut in the edges. The floor and baseboards have been base coated, and now I'm gonna mask off the baseboards. I made a sample ahead of time using these beautiful Wise-Al colors. It's gray linen is my light color and peppercorn is my dark color. Because my tile floor has a slight texture to it, I'm choosing to use a brush. It's going to give me a tighter edge than using a roller. So I'm using a 3/4 inch stencil brush. And when you use a stencil brush, remember, you don't want to dip it all the way in. Just get the tip of the brush into the paint like so, and then take off some, it's called palleting the brush, and don't have too much paint on it. And that's how you load the brush. I'm gonna use a little spray adhesive on this stencil. It helps to really get tighter edges. So I'm gonna take it outside, put a few light coats on the back of the stencil, and then we'll be ready to go. Center your stencil on the tile. Wow, beautiful. Okay, the stenciling is done and the floor turned out great. It's time to pull the masking tape, do a few touch-ups, and apply 3 coats of top coat to protect this beautiful floor. I'll be using Wise-Al 1 Hour Enamel Clear Satin as my top coat. It's going to dry crystal clear and be rock solid.